Harare, Zimbabwe's ruling ZANU-PF will discuss the impeachment of President Robert Mugabe on Monday, its chief whip said, after a noon deadline expired for the 93-year-old to end his nearly 4 decades in power by resigning. Impeachment could see Mugabe kicked out by a vote in parliament in under a day and would represent an ignominious end to the career of the grand old man of African politics, who was once lauded across the continent as an anti-colonial hero. ZANU-PF Chief Whip Lovemira Machook said the party's members of parliament would meet at 12:30 p.m. to start mapping out Mugabe's impeachment. On paper, the process is relatively long-winded, involving a joint sitting of the Senate and National Assembly, then a 9-member committee of senators, then another joint sitting to confirm his dismissal with a 2/3 majority. However, constitutional experts said ZANU-PF had the numbers and could push it through in as little as 24 hours. They can fast-track it? It can be done in a matter of a day, said John Mukamu, Executive Director of the Southern African Parliamentary Support Trust, an NGO that works with the parliament in Harare. Mugabe's demise, now almost inevitable, is likely to send shockwaves across Africa, where a number of entrenched strongmen from Uganda's Yoweri Museveni to Democratic Republic of Congo's Joseph Kabila are facing mounting pressure to step aside. Get the latest news and updates emailed straight to your inbox. By submitting your email, you are agreeing to Fairfax Media's terms and conditions and privacy policy. Mugabe was once admired, even in the West, as the thinking man's gorilla, a world away from his image in his latter years as the stereotypical African dictator proudly declaring he held a degree in violence. As the economy crumbled and opposition to his rule grew in the late 1990s, Mugabe tightened his grip around the southern African country, seizing white-owned farms, unleashing security forces to crush dissent and speaking of ruling until he was 100. ZANU-PF's action follows a weekend of high drama in Harare, culminating in reports that Mugabe had agreed on Sunday to stand down, only for him to dash the hopes of millions of his countrymen in a bizarre and rambling national address. Flanked by the generals who sent in tanks and troops last week to seize the state broadcaster, Mugabe spoke of the need for national unity and farming reform, but made no mention of his fate, leaving the nation of 16 million people dumbstruck. "I am baffled. It's not just me, it's the whole nation," shocked opposition leader Morgan Tsvangirai said. "He is playing a game." 2 senior government sources said Mugabe had agreed on Sunday to step aside, and CNN said on Monday his resignation letter had been drawn up, with terms that included immunity for him and his hot-headed and unpopular 52-year-old wife Grace. It was her tilt at power via the purging of former Vice President Emmerson Mnangagwa this month that forced the army to send in the troops. 2 other political sources said on Monday that Mugabe had indeed agreed to resign, but ZANU-PF did not want him to quit in front of the military, an act that would have made its midweek intervention look like a coup. It would have looked extremely bad if he had resigned in front of those generals,